Hi, my name is Wilson Abraham and I'm a member of Brisbane Group 2. In this video, I'll be talking about Group Discussion 1. Now before I begin, let me give you a brief idea about the case study. An Australian-based payment card company has decided to outsource its telemarketing service to offshore locations in Singapore and SOA. Now the group discussion has three questions. The first one asks what are the steps that are required to be taken by the company for the certification and accreditation of its information security system. The second question asks if there is a need for certification and accreditation in the offshore locations, that is Singapore and SOA. And the last question being to list the companies that would be involved in the certification and accreditation process. Now there would be times when I use the word CNA, short form CNA, which would stand for certification and accreditation during the video. Now the first question, which is the steps that are required. Now the first step that the company should take is the formal acknowledgement of the certification and accreditation process. Now this should be ideally be done by the system owner or the Chief Information Security Officer. Once this has been done, a CNA team or a certification and accreditation team should be established and individual roles and responsibilities should be assigned for the certification and accreditation process. Now there should be a classification of the data based on sensitivity, that is as classified or non-classified. Also, the company should ensure that a system security plan is made, which should include system requirements documentation, contingency planning, and an overall overview of the system's operations. Now another important step that the company should take is that it should ensure that the various components of the system are configured by its system administrator. Now this would ensure that the systems are appropriately configured well before the security tests are conducted by the certifier for the certification and accreditation process. Now another requirement or a step that needs to be taken is that the company should conduct an information security risk assessment. Now this is for the identification and evaluation of security risks, threats and vulnerabilities. Now this would not only help in identifying these risks but also help in realizing the potential impacts these risks would have on the system. Now apart from this, the findings of the risk assessment could be used in the future for the refining and development of risk management and information security policies, plans and procedures. Now the second question, which asks us to talk about if there is a need for certification and accreditation in the offshore locations. Now every country will have its own set of norms, policies and procedures for conducting business, and also a set of governing bodies handling such security related issues and organizations responsible for the certification and accreditation process. So it is an obvious yes, the company would require a certification and accreditation to be done in these countries as well. Now also, the company being a multinational payment card company, it would be handling a lot of confidential and private data of customers and stakeholders. So I believe there is a requirement for a set of norms, plans and procedures and an information security system to safeguard these information and data in the other countries. Now the last question asks us to list the companies. Now the group, before I talk about the last question, the group consensus on the second question, which is if there is a requirement, was a yes. The group consensus was a yes. So basically everybody agreed to the fact that yes, there is a requirement for certification and accreditation process. Now the last question is to list the companies that would be involved in the certification and accreditation process. Now the entire group, the members of the group, found out there are certain organizations that are involved. Now these organizations are in Australia, BSI Australia, DAS certification, DQS certification, ASIL, which stands for Australia Security Industry Association Limited, and CREST. In Singapore, the organizations that were involved were the CREST Singapore, CSA, that is the Cyber Security Agency of Singapore, the BSI Group Singapore, and the AISP, which is the Association of Information Security Professionals. Now SOA The research did not show any SUA-based certification and accreditation company which provides certification, that is. But however, the companies in SUA would require certification to be done by SciQual International Private Limited, that is owned by Australia, or by Crest.